Well, shalom, shalom. I'm Barbara, and I'm always short and sweet. Well, our title today is Jeroboam's Counterfeit Worship. King Jeroboam, he was the king who made Israel sin. And after King Solomon died, the nation of Israel was one nation, but it became two kingdoms. The northern region was governed by King Jeroboam, who was actually a servant of Solomon, and the southern region was governed by King Rehoboam, who was a son of King Solomon. So to keep the feast or to worship Yah, the northern Israel had to travel south to Jerusalem, and they were required to offer sacrifices at the temple in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem was the capital city of Judah in the south. Well, remember that beautiful temple that Solomon built? It was still brand new. This was just the time of his son Rehoboam living, and everything was gold and beautiful, and they were required 3 times a year to go to Jerusalem to worship and to go for the feast and to sacrifice. Well, in 1 Kings 12, it says, "And Jeroboam said in his heart, now the kingdom might return to the house of David if these people go up to offer sacrifices to the house of Yah at Jerusalem. Then the heart of the people will turn back to Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they will kill me and go back to Rehoboam, king of Judah." So in verse 28, he says, "Therefore the king asked advice and made 2 calves of gold and said to the people, 'It is too much for you to go to Jerusalem. Here are your gods, O Israel, which brought you up from the land of Egypt.'" So he made 2 golden calves. And this is repeating the golden calf worship, isn't it? Here it is in the wilderness when they worshiped the golden calf there and said, "This is your God that brought you up out of Egypt." So Jeroboam said, "Can you not keep worship and pray and serve God here?" So he set up one in Bethel and the other he put in Dan. Now this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one as far as Dan. 1 Kings 12:31, "And he made shrines on the high places, and he made priests from every class of people who were not the sons of Levi." So therefore, from that time on, the northern Israel committed idolatry against Yah. Well, Jeroboam devised a feast in his own heart. It says in 1 Kings 12:32-33, that on the 15th day of the 8th month, in the month which he had devised in his own heart. So Jeroboam made up a time of a feast. And here in Scripture it says, this was like the Feast of Tabernacles that was in the 7th month. So he created a feast in his own mind. And here it is, Jeroboam changed Yah's calendar, and he made Israel worship by worshiping the golden calves and in a different month, because Tabernacles was always going to be in the 7th month. So he didn't want them even going close to Jerusalem at the same time. And it definitely was counterfeit worship, counterfeit time of the feast, and counterfeit golden idols. And here is Tabernacles in Leviticus 23 on the 7th month. So by using the same tactic, Satan abolished the feast of Yah, such as Sabbath, Passover, unleavened bread, Shavuot, trumpets, Day of Atonement, all of the feasts, and tabernacles. So instead of the feast of Yah, he has deviously introduced a different way of worship, which has led the people to worship the sun god and pagan idols. So what do you want? Do you want the true or the counterfeit? Here's the Feast of Tabernacles that is in Scripture, Leviticus 23. It is the true worship time. And these are on the calendar that Israel had, and not the calendar we have today in the Gregorian calendar. And here's the false holiday, the false counterfeit feast. Here's the true Passover unleavened bread, Leviticus 23. It's in the Bible. And here is the false holiday, Easter. This is the counterfeit. So if you ask God who made this change, he will reply, I'm not the one who did this, but it was an enemy who did this. The enemy among us, the parable is in Matthew 13. And it says that an enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And then the owner said, just let those tares grow in with the good seed. He said, an enemy has done this, and we'll wait till the harvest, and then we'll reap the tares first. So Yah's feasts are forever, and here are just a few scriptures saying these are my feasts, these are an ordinance forever. So remember, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, Hosea 4:6. And please like if this is a blessing to you, and share it with your friends that love Yeshua. Jeremiah 16:19 says, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things where there is no profit. So remember, I'm short and sweet, and I'll see you next time, Yah willing. And thank you for being here today.